Hey everyone, I can't wait to share with you some farmhouse country Christmas ornaments that are perfect for the cozy Christmas vibe. This first project is going to be a country wreath ornament. So we're going to start out with this fabric that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I was going for homespun fabric, but I wasn't able to find any, even when I went to Joann. So if you're somebody that shops for the homespun fabric, let me know where you pick it up. This was just in the holiday section at Hobby Lobby. So I'm cutting up at the top, just a small little piece, and then tearing it down. I want to get all of the fringe and the frays to give it that old kind of country look. Once I have all the strips, and I think I cut about 5, I'm going to cut them in half, and then I'm going to start tying them around my mason jar lid. So this is super simple. I just go around, tie it in half, and then push it into the next piece. I do this all the way around the mason jar lid, and then I go ahead and give it a nice trim just so that I don't have any super long frays, and I get a really good circular shape for my wreath. So this is a super easy project. Even kiddos could help with this one if you wanted to have them make some ornaments. So then I had some ribbon. This was just ribbon I had left over. You can see I have a pretty jagged cut there. I just cut a bigger piece of ribbon in half. I wasn't too worried about it. I'm making a messy bow, and by the time I get all the pieces on there, you can't even tell. I think it is time for me to have some new scissors. So once I get all the pieces together for my bow, I'm just going to take some twine, tie it in the middle of this bow, and fluff it out. Once I get that tied on there, I clip off any excess twine so that it's not hanging around, and then I'm ready to attach it to my ornament. So I'm going to I played around with it for a little bit, tried to decide if I wanted it at the top or the bottom. I decided the top, so I'm just going to use some hot glue and attach it to the fabric up at the top. Once I get this part attached to the wreath, of course I need a finishing touch, and there's nothing more country than buttons. So I take a more like a darker red country color, and I'm going to glue that into the middle. Once I have it glued into the middle, then I'm ready to apply a hanger to the back of the ornament. I'm just using some twine here. I go ahead and make a knot in my twine, glue it to the back, and because I want this to have a finished look, I take one more button, glue it over the knot so you get kind of a fun look in the back, and then this ornament is complete.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
For this project, we're going to be creating a country candy cane ornament. I found these plastic candy canes over at Hobby Lobby in the miniature area. I think if they are not in the miniature area, they are in the red and white ornament area. They come in a package of 48, so you get quite a few. You can do several different projects. If you missed my rustic reindeer wreath, I'll post that up here in the cards. I also made some candy cane ornaments to go in the wreath. So all we're going to do is use our hot glue, and these are just some leftover fabric pieces I had from the wreath. If you don't have any leftover, you can certainly tear some more of the material and make some longer ones. The nice thing about the country look and the fray look is that once we piece them together, you really can't tell, and it gives it character anyway. So I'm just going to keep gluing here my pieces one at a time. So this one goes about halfway up. Then I'm going to take another smaller piece and just keep going. Once I get it all wrapped together, I'm going to take 2 of them and place them back to back. And now I'm taking some twine and I'm wrapping the twine around to make that into the middle. So I made another messy bow with that same ribbon, and taking another button. These buttons all came from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to glue another brownish red button into the middle here. I went ahead and used all the same ribbon for these just because they made them look like a grouping. You wouldn't have to do that if you didn't want to, but I went ahead and glued another smaller red button on top of the brownish red button just to give it a layered look, and then again twine in the back for my hanger, a button over my knot there to give it a more finished look, and then this project is complete.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Christmas times. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring.
So sticking with our candy canes, we're going to be making a country heart ornament. Nothing says country more to me than hearts. So I took 2 of the fabric wrapped candy canes and followed the process just like the candy cane ornament. And now I face them towards each other and I'm gluing one on top of the other to make the heart. So this makes a super cute heart. It's like one of those skinny long hearts, and there's a lot you could do with these. You could even just group them together, tie some ribbon around them and put them in a basket. So once I get them glued together, I'm taking some of this black and red buffalo check ribbon. It came from the Dollar Tree. I'm using it as the hanger and I glued it together down towards the bottom of the heart. Once I glued that on, I went ahead and took some more of that ribbon, made a messy bow only with that ribbon, tied it off with some twine, and now I'm going to use another button. I love these buttons from the Dollar Tree because you get so many different colors and you can use them for so many projects, and they're only $1. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that button into the middle, and then once I have that, it is complete.
Sweet Christmas in my heart, but this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me, doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
Our next project is going to be a fabric wrapped ornament. So we're just taking a styrofoam ball that I had in my stash. You can pick these up at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes the Dollar Tree has the bigger ones. Joann's also has styrofoam balls. You could also use a plastic ornament for this as well, but I'm taking some more of the strips and I'm just going to wrap them kind of in a crisscross pattern. So I go over, like down the middle, kind of like I'm cutting pizza, I guess. But then I'm going to go around the middle again so that I have kind of a, I don't know if you'd call it a cross pattern there, but I'm going to glue it up at the top, and then I'm going to continue doing that all around the ball. This is stringy again because again we ripped it, so once you get it on there, if you feel like you have too many strings, you can totally just trim those off. And that's what I did when I had a couple that were just a little bit too long. But I just keep wrapping until I don't have any of the white showing on my styrofoam ball. So these ornaments were super fun to make. So even I looked at it kind of like the reason I made them all pretty much the same color. If this was a theme you were going for, or maybe you had like a cabin theme, or maybe you have a cabin and you have a tree there, this would make such adorable ornaments for that tree. Another thing would be if you're somebody just starting out and maybe doesn't have any Christmas tree ornaments, this is super fun because these are really easy to make. You can make a lot of them at the same time, and then you can totally have a fun, unique Christmas tree all decorated for your first time. It would go great in a small tree, great in a large tree, so the sky is the limit here, and you can customize it to your own colors. So then I took some twine, tied it in a knot, and I just kind of made an indentation into my styrofoam ball. You could leave it just like that. I wrapped it with some twine. I felt like it was a little plain, and like I said, I kind of wanted them all to match, so I made another messy bow with that same ribbon, and then another button, and then this ornament is complete.
Promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket.
So we are going to make one more fabric ball ornament. This time we are not going to cut it in strips. We're going to cut just a square of our fabric and wrap it around our styrofoam ball. If you wanted to use a Christmas ornament here, a clear plastic one, they have those at the Dollar Tree, and that would also work. Once I get my fabric all wrapped around my styrofoam ball, I take some twine and I'm just going to tie it in a knot here and make sure that it's secure around my styrofoam ball. I do cut off any excess twine there, and then I go ahead and take my scissors and trim around the top to give it a more uniform pattern. Once I get that all trimmed off, I fluff it out at the top. You could leave the ornament just like this if you wanted to, only just adding a hanger there in the middle. I decided to tie a twine bow around this. I feel like my twine was too thin and I didn't like how it looked. So I'm thinking maybe some jute cord here would have been better. I might try that next time. But once I get this glued on, I decide to add a couple buttons as well. So I take a brownish red button again, I tie that in the middle, and then I glue that in the middle, and then I glue a green button on top of that. I'm also making my hanger here, so I just tie some jute twine into a knot again, and I'm going to glue it into the middle of our fabric up here at the top. At the very end, I decided to go back and put some of the ribbon that we were using in the other ornaments, just to make it a little bit more cohesive as a grouping of ornaments. And that would be a total optional step if you wanted to do that. And then this project is complete.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
If you loved today's projects as much as I did, go down, hit the like button so I know to make more content like this in the future. And as always, wherever you are in your journey is a perfect place to start, and I will see you in my next video.